All right, welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and we got a short live stream for you guys tonight. And if you see me scratching a lot, I'm sunburnt, like all on my back, so please forgive me. But yeah, we've got a fun live stream for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about our games from this weekend. We're going to talk about a giveaway we're doing. We're going to talk about the tables, the random roll tables we're making for our patrons. With a variety of the ideas. We might even list off some of the tables we're in process of working on. But yeah, I played 3 games this weekend. So we're gonna just jump right into that. So Friday night we had our Blue Rose game. We were originally expected to have 4 players and our narrator. One of the players could not make it, unfortunately, and his name was Matt. He made a character in Session Zero named Sid, I believe was the name. And I just want to say, this game was a lot of fun. All of the players had really good developed personalities, I feel like, for their characters. I don't know if they came into it knowing what they were going to do or if it just naturally happened that way. But Mike played his character phenomenally. There were some really awesome moments that I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go check out that episode from Friday night. But for me, I was dying. I thought it was great. There was an interaction with an NPC that went really well, and it was highly entertaining. And I don't say that about every stream, but again, if you like character development, you like getting in and seeing how players evolve and their relationships with other NPCs and other player characters and how those evolve, I think you're going to like this Blue Rose campaign a lot. It's going to be 3 sessions. And, again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but we really got to dive into our characters there. We had a lot of NPC interactions. We got to learn about the town we're in. We got to do some investigation. We got to figure out how the Blue Rose age system works with various types of roles, stunt points in a variety of situations. And again, to me, this is something that I would probably watch as like a Netflix series, to be honest. It was right up there, I think, with the character development and everything like that. So again, if that's something you think you are interested in, go check that out. You will not regret it. Now, in that session, and this campaign's not going to be a lot of combat, just so you guys know. We had a little bit in this past session, and again, it went a certain way. And I think if it happens again, we have 2 more sessions. That was the first one. We have 2 more. If it happens again, I would imagine it would be a much bigger scale than the previous one. And this one felt very tense. It was good. So with that, though, the giveaways we are doing. So we are going to have a narrator's bundle and a player's bundle that we're going to give out every single session. So we play our games on Friday night. If you see our post, and I'm going to show you what the post looks like here in a second. If you see our post, you have until the following Monday, so that would be tomorrow evening, to say what your favorite moment was from that game. You can post under as a response on Twitter. You can post in the comments on Instagram, and you can post in the comments on Facebook. We have a specific graphic. It's our giveaway post. Post under it. And tell us what your favorite moment was. You don't have to subscribe or be a follower or anything like that. All you need to do is comment under there what your favorite moment was. If you are selected as the winner tomorrow night, then I will send you a direct message. So make sure that you have your direct messages open, and I will let you know what you have to do to get it. Now, you're not going to have to give me your home address or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that. But we will get you the narrator's bundle or the player's bundle if you had won. Now, in these bundles, in the narrator's bundle, there are 7 things that you can win, or that you get, I should say. So you will get the core rulebook, and it's a PDF. You will get the dice set. You will get 6 of Swords PDF. You will get the City of Aldis PDF. You'll also get the quick start rules, which is just nice for introducing people to the game that haven't played before. You're also going to get envoys to the Mount pre-gen characters, and you're going to get the envoys to the Mount and Tales from the Mount PDF. So again, you're getting a lot of stuff there for free, you know. And all you got to do is tell us what your favorite moment was. What was the most entertaining thing to you? You know, and I guarantee you'll enjoy the game. So, you know, just let us know. Now, the players bundle will have the core rulebook. You'll also get the dice set. You're going to get Heart Song, which is some short fiction. You're going to get that in 3 different formats. You're going to get the Cut Purse with his trousers down. It's more short fiction, and you're going to get that in 3 different formats. Sovereigns of the Blue Rose, that will also be in 3 different formats. And Blue Rose, Envoys to the Mount, and Tales from the Mount PDF. So again, you're getting a lot there. Now, outside of that, right, we're going to do that for every episode. We're also doing a Dragon Age giveaway. Dragon Age is also by Green Ronin. They also have a tabletop RPG, which if you're a fan of the video games, you're going to love the tabletop RPG. It feels like the video game. And not because like the mechanics play out that way, but like they've done a good job of incorporating things like how magic works and, you know, becoming a Grey Warden and, you know, blood magic and all of those things. They've done a really good job of incorporating those and the different classes from the video game in, and it feels pretty much like the video game. When I've played that, and we've had a few sessions so far on my channel of that. I've ran a couple sessions of it, and I'm currently playing in it. In the one I'm playing in, we're playing the Dalish Curse. In that, we are going to give away a Dragon Age bundle, the exact same way we're doing the Blue Rose. So again, we'll have a giveaway post that we're going to post up, and you can say what your favorite moment from the campaign was. Now, this is a shorter campaign. It's not going to be like Blue Rose where it's every session, because we only have one giveaway that we can do of the Dragon Age bundle. So the Dragon Age bundle is going to include the Creatures of Thedas, the Wyvern, the Faces of Thedas PDF, the Core Rulebook PDF, and the character by, I believe, Felicia Day, and the character's name is Talus, and you'll get that PDF. So 4 PDFs in that bundle, and it's a fun game. A simple game to play, 3d6, you have 1 stunt die, you roll. If you get any doubles and you succeeded on your roll, then you get stunt points to apply to whatever the situation is. There's combat stunts, there's role play, or as I like to call it, I call them social stunts, and then you have combat stunts. So again, really cool stuff there. Now, I'm going to show you guys what the post looks like. Hey, Top Hat, welcome, buddy. I'm happy to see you here. So I'm going to show you guys really quick what the post is going to look like. And it is going to be this one right here. So that is what the actual post looks like over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can enter in all 3 places. I prefer if you enter in 3 places, mention 3 different moments that were your favorite from the session, and you will be entered to win the Blue Rose giveaway here. So again, really easy way to win. You can't go wrong, you know. It's going to take you a little bit of time to watch the episode. I think it was very entertaining. I think you will too. It was pretty funny. We had a lot of good banter back and forth. Had some moments where you can tell certain party members aren't on the same page in character. It wasn't like out of character we had problems. It was in character stuff. Again, great banter back and forth, great NPC interactions. It was a great session. So definitely go check that out. So yeah, that's the post you can go and find on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Post your favorite moment from the game, and we will definitely pick a winner tomorrow night. In fact, I'm going to find a random generator. I'm going to enter everybody who entered their favorite moments. I'll go through all of them tomorrow before I do my stream. I will add them into this random generator, and we'll do it on stream. You'll see the winner live tomorrow night at about 8 8:30 p.m. Eastern as well. So good luck, you know. Also, someone told me if anyone does fan art for our campaigns, that I should reward you guys also with 2 entries. So if you can come up with some really cool fan art and it's better than stick figures, you know, and actually shows, you know, the characters portrayed, I'll give you 2 entries for that. That's a little bonus right there. But yeah, so we've got that going on. Now, excuse me a second. So Saturday night, we played our first in-person game in a long time. We played our Tomb of Annihilation game, and this game we started 2 years ago, I think, 2.5 years ago. Yeah. So New Year's 2019, I think, is when we had an all-day session in this campaign. So we're only 6th level in Tomb of Annihilation. We were playing about once a month pre-COVID, once every 2 months, whenever we could get people to, you know, sit down and play. And this is with my wife's family, her brother, sister-in-law, and one of their sons. And I originally was playing a Dragonborn Tempest Cleric. Unfortunately, I died against a Medusa. Our monk character played by their son. He's 15, I think. Might be 16 at this point. His character was turned to stone by the Medusa. So we rolled up new characters. He ended up with a rogue because he had no good stats and he didn't know what to play and he was really frustrated. And so I told him, I was like, well, you could play a rogue, put your highest stat into Dex, and you should be a really good rogue still. So he's playing a rogue now, and I ended up becoming just a totem barbarian, a real simple, straight to the point totem barbarian. And my barbarian is really nature-based. Because of the Speak with Animals, I was inspired to try and work that in there more. So my character has a lot of interest in animals and the wild and nature and stuff like that. However, he is very quick to anger and lose his temper. So really our rogue player should be playing a barbarian because he gets really frustrated with his die rolls when they roll low. He's a very competitive gamer, and I've tried to explain to him D&D is not really like that. His parents, though, are also kind of like that, where they do view it more as a tactical game at times, which is fine. Everybody plays differently. Whereas my wife and I like the more story aspect. I don't care if my character dies. Like, I'm totally fine with it. And I'll make suboptimal choices in combat and stuff just to, just because I think that's what my character would do. And I've told them this ahead of time, so they know what to expect playing with me. They've played plenty of games with me. I've played AD&D with them. We've played 5th edition. Couldn't get them to play Pathfinder a while back, but, we've played all these games. Anyways, so we decided to go to a place with a bunch of kobolds. Not going to ruin Tomb of Annihilation for any of you who haven't played it before, but there's a place called, Wormheart Mines, I think. It was an old dwarven mine. And it's known for having kobolds. Now, meta knowledge, you can assume what you want. There was plenty of evidence to verify my assumptions, but I ended up, we let the rogue travel ahead to scout out an area that we saw light coming from, and he was invisible because our wizard cast invisibility, and he tripped a trap and got sprayed by a skunk and was attacked by 2 kobolds, but he was 250, 300 feet away from us. I have 40-foot movement, so I was able to close the distance moderately quickly and get there. He wasn't hit because he was invisible, and these kobolds swinging at disadvantage couldn't get the job done. So I showed up. I told him, I was like, get behind me. And so I positioned myself in a way, and I started hacking through him, and I had extra attacks, so I'm going through about 2 every round. And just boom, 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 boom. Because as we started going down the stairs, there were more kobolds. And we're still waiting for our party to catch up. But it was awesome. So I was able to do some cool stuff. My character is not optimized to be a damage dealer. He is just meant to soak damage. And even his AC is only a 17. So I was using my great axe most of the time. But started bowling through them. And then we fought some specters, 5 or 6 of them. After that, found some bodies that were charred and a breastplate made of mithril, which, if you have any idea why a mithril breastplate might be useful, more so than a regular breastplate, I would love to hear it, because regular breastplate already doesn't grant disadvantage on stealth checks. So I'm just curious, other than adding monetary value and making it a little nicer, what would a mithril breastplate do better than a regular breastplate? I'm just curious. And maybe there's some magical properties to it as well. Maybe it can't, maybe you get resistance to fire or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. None of us can identify it. So we have a paladin, we have a wizard, a rogue, and my barbarian. And that's it right now. We also have 2 NPCs with us, and we also have a metal construct that our wizard can control. Oh, cool, Mallory. Watching the Blue Rose session right now. Awesome. Yeah, let me know. Feel free to comment on the video too and let me know what you think, and you can, all that good stuff. I love to hear feedback. I'm not running the game. My friend Aaron is. Everyone in this group, we've had some really cool conversations off stream, and I know Michael really well. I've talked to him quite a few times. I hung out with him at Gen Con a few years back. I didn't know Aaron outside of comments on like Facebook groups and stuff, and seen his Twitter posts up until a few months ago. Joseph Carricker, the developer of Blue Rose, I did an interview with him last year on my channel about the Blue Rose setting and things like that. And we talked on some topics, some LGBTQ topics and things like that. And he's a member of that community, and he's a game designer. And so it was really interesting hearing some of his insight on stuff like that. And I consider Joseph a friend now too. All 3 of these guys I would hang out with in person. I'd obviously game with them any day of the week. They are fantastic people. Love them to death. I can honestly say that. So, but yeah, so yeah, let me know what you think of the game though. I feel like we have some pretty good chemistry in that game. So, but yeah, so we had this mithril breastplate, and we fought some specters, and we ended the session. It ended really abruptly. They brought their daughter over, who's in middle school, I believe. I think she's like 13 years old. And they wanted to get her home so she wasn't up too late. And so we just kind of, out of the blue, ended at 10:30. I think we were all surprised. But it was my wife's brother's decision to end the session because he wanted to get her home. But the rest of us were like, yeah, we're ready to go for another hour and a half or so. So we ended at about 10:30, and which was fine actually. It allowed for a more chill night after that, and stuff like that. But our Tomb of Annihilation game, this is a campaign. I've tried to play this once before, and we got up to level 5, got through Firefinger, and I've never been able to finish this module as a player, and I really want to. I haven't read the book. I've purposely not read the book. I've enjoyed the way the game handles like the random encounters, or at least how it's been run with 2 different DMs. I really enjoy the story of it so far. The lethality is a little bit up there, especially if you think D&D 5e is overpowered for players, then I think you're going to find running that, and if you use some of the death curse rules or whatever, then you're going to find it's a little more difficult. And the fact that the encounters are not based on your level, you might face, like we faced a storm giant at like level 2 or 3. And luckily it was injured already, but I'm pretty sure that was just a random encounter rolled on a table. You can fight things like a zombie T-Rex and all sorts of other stuff. And raptors, and they have pack tactics and all sorts of these things that at low level are extremely hard. And as you get higher in level, they're probably still hard for some of them. And then other things, are not as bad once you're higher up and you're doing these random encounters. But yeah, there's so much to Tomb of Annihilation, and I really enjoy this. And so I just want to see this through to the end. We have 2 friends who moved back, and they are the woman who plays with us. It's her brother and his wife. We played with AD&D with them in the past. They are going to be joining us in about 2 months for this campaign. So we have our next session, I think, where they aren't going to be with us, but the following session, I think they will. And they're going to have level 6 or 7 characters to join us. And I think the couple who plays with us, their son is still going to play with us. I'm not sure. They might switch. He might not with school starting and stuff. I don't know. But I'm really excited to see, one, what type of characters they choose to play and how they fit in with the group and how we meet them. Like, I'm really drawn to this game now. And it took me a while, I think, to get into like our group dynamics and stuff like that. I do have a backup character that I haven't made, but a concept. I know I'm going to play a warlock, up close fighter style warlock. Pact of the Old Ones, Pact of the Blade, a pact with an old one, and Pact of the Blade, magical darkness, devil sight, and just really bank on getting up close and attacking things using that. Once I have that ability, I think I'm going to take fighter. And because I'm going to be a higher level to start off, I could probably just come up with my multi-class concept ahead of time. As long as I meet the requirements, right? So I think I want to do a fighter warlock or a rogue warlock. I'm not sure. But I want to... This next character is going to be focused on damage. I'm going to use the magical armor of Agathis. Obviously, I have Eldritch Blast, but I don't think that's going to be his focus at all. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're playing a warlock. You got to cast Eldritch Blast. I don't think that's going to be his focus. I don't think that's what he's going to specialize in. While, yes, he can do it if he has to, and it's going to prevent him from needing a bow of any sort, he's going to be an up-close guy. He's going to be able to summon his weapon from a pocket dimension. Once he's attuned to magical weapons, he's going to put those there. Like, it's going to be awesome. So that's my concept for my next character, should my barbarian not make it. But yeah, so that's what we had going on Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. It really sucks when we ended it because it felt like we were all just kind of getting back into it. Again, we hadn't played in person since pre-COVID, so it was a year and a half ago. We played one time online last year. My wife and I, when we stream, we're in different rooms. However, they all sat at one table, so the three of them at one table were able to have live communication with each other, but it was kind of delayed because we were on Zoom, and so it was a little bit difficult. And I'm not a big fan when you do it that way. Like, if you're going to play online, everybody kind of goes off into their own space, and it works so much better than if you're all in the same place, just because the lag and trying to communicate makes it difficult otherwise. So that's what we had on Saturday, which again was a really good game night. So then, excuse me one second. So then today, so my son's been wanting to play D&D for a long time. He's 6 years old. And I have not felt like he was ready for it. My daughter is 10 years old. And when she was little, she always wanted to play with us. I used to let her roll some dice. We used to come up with like characters and stuff like that. But I never really let her play. And then we tried a little bit when she was about 5. She wasn't ready for it. She couldn't sit there. She couldn't focus. Couldn't pay attention to what I was saying. We tried again when she was 6. Once again, she couldn't focus. It was hard. 3 years ago, before we moved into this house, very shortly before we moved into this house, was the first time, and it was her birthday. So June of 2018, I think. I think that's when it was. Her and I sat down to play. I streamed it on the channel. We called it The Adventures of Aaliyah Barora, I think is her character's name. And I didn't give her a character sheet. I have color-coded dice that I bought from Dice Bard. Dice Bard does not sell these dice anymore, but they used to have color-coded dice, and it was supposed to be like a D&D 5e set. So you get like 6d6s and all the dice you need to cast like a lot of the different spells up to like 6th level or whatever. So you get a lot of different dice, right? So like 6d6s, which I think is what you need for a fireball. And you get a few d4s, a few d8s, 2 d20s, a couple d10s, So anyways, let her use those. We used color-coded dice. She struggled to understand the sides without the colors, so that's why we did that. And then we played, and she did really well with it. She did really well with the math. I was letting her, add her stuff up and tell me and all that. Well, that was 4 years ago with my now 10-year-old daughter. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'll try to run a game for my son. He's 6. He really wants to play, and he wants to play with his sister also. So those two and myself. And I told him last week that we'll play, and if he does really well, and he can sit still and focus and be into the game, at least well enough for a 6-year-old, or at least for what I would expect for a child to be able to sit through it, then we'll play with his sister. So today we played, and this kid, we made his character. We legit went through and made a 5e character. Okay, we went through the whole thing, rolled the stats. I let him choose his skills. I let him choose his extra language from his background because he's an outlander. I let him roll for his background traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. I let him choose his weapons. He chose a miniature, so we kind of based some stuff off of that. So like his weaponry, we did base off of that. He wanted to use a longbow and a greatsword. He's using the Reaper Bones mini that has like the big horns and the hoofs, and it's like got a bow. I think it's like some kind of a naturey druid creature thing. So we decided it was a tiefling barbarian, and so we made this character, and he loves this character. Absolutely loves it. He thought this was the coolest thing. His armor class is a 13. He's got a great sword. Plus 5 to hit, 2d6 plus 3 damage, 5 if he's raging. His character had an animal trophy. He wanted that to be a wolf, like a wolf pelt. And so he wears this wolf pelt around that he of the first wolf he slayed. Well, tonight, because of that, and we just made it right before our session, I decided, I should have another wolf be the first encounter. So he's fighting a wolf, but when he approached, the wolf was being attacked by 9 kobolds. And so he wanted to help the kobolds. So I was like, all right, cool. So he and the kobolds took down the wolf. And I wrote down everything that happened in our session right here. Traveling, so his character has nightmares of a great disaster that could end the world. He doesn't know what causes it, but he knows it's not normal. And so his character left his tribe to pursue whatever this thing is to stop it. And which we talked about on TikTok. So if you're not following me on TikTok, Master the Game RPG over on TikTok, or Master the Game RP, I don't know. Go check me out on TikTok. You can see it there. But so he sorry. So he had this encounter with the wolf and the 9 kobolds, and he hit it a few times. The kobolds hit it a few times. They ended up dealing 32 points of damage to this wolf. And because I wanted him to get the last shot, I didn't let it drop when the kobolds would hit it. He did get bit by the wolf. He did get hurt, losing 4 hit points. But he then delivered the final blow for 13 points of damage with his greatsword, which was awesome. And he was so excited. And when the battle ended, the kobolds, he couldn't communicate with them. They don't speak the same language. And the kobolds, pulled out a gold coin each and gave him a gold coin, and, were like, and they, ran off into the woods. After they each one gave him a gold coin, that one would bolt off into the woods and disappear. Making him he felt really good about it. He loved it. So then, and his character's name is Beast, or people refer to him as the Beast. He then decided to set up camp. He stripped the wolf of meat and its fur. While the meat was cooking, I let him make a check to turn the fur into like a jacket or something to wear over him as well. So another wolf pelt. And again, he thought that was the coolest thing ever. He's like, oh, this is so cool. You can do this. I'm like, you can do anything in this game. And so he was loving it. While he set up camp, he ate some meat and then fell asleep. When he was asleep, he woke up because he heard movement. And I did it against his passive perception. And zombies are not the most stealthy, and they're loud and dumb, and So he's sleeping, and the zombies come out and he wakes up. He quickly grabbed his greatsword off the ground and attacked them and ended up winning. He didn't get hurt by the zombies. The zombies had coin purses, and he got 6 gold off of one, 3 gold off the other. So he ended up with 18 extra gold, putting him at 28 gold so far. I was like, dude, you're a barbarian with 28 gold. That's a lot for you. So he was really excited about that. And we ended the session there. He was doing awesome. He probably could have went quite a bit longer, but I feel like yes, he was antsy. He couldn't sit on his butt the whole time. Yes, he was turning around and looking at other miniatures that whole time. But he had a blast. He was engaged. When I'd ask him a question, he had answers. He was into it. You know, you can't expect a 5 or 6-year-old to sit still and listen and just focus, right? They fidget. They look at things. You got to prepare for that. So it was a great experience. It was his very first one. He has his own dice. We got them for Christmas for him. My daughter, when she was like 5, got her first set of dice. We also have a soon-to-be 3-year-old. Eventually, we'll get him dice, probably around 5 years old. You know, we're going to make this a regular thing with my 10-year-old daughter and my 6-year-old son and see what kind of stories they can tell. They want to stream it. I don't think I'm going to stream it. I've streamed for my daughter before. I like the idea of and maybe I'll record it. Maybe I'll stream it off stream so they can always watch it back later sometime. But I don't plan on streaming it for a live audience right now. And there's no particular reason for that. I just don't think I'm going to do it. But I might eventually. So who knows? But yeah, we had a blast. I'm glad I did that today. And I think I created a fun memory for us. So yeah, those are my games from this weekend. Paul, welcome, buddy. It's good to see you. Been thinking of introducing my 6-year-old daughter to RPGs. Just haven't worked out how to do that, really. Just not sure if I can keep her attention. She has ADHD. So I wouldn't be surprised if my 6-year-old has ADHD. He wasn't sitting still. He was on his feet, turning around. Like, I kept telling him, all right, try to sit down, try to focus. You know, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. And honestly, I didn't even let him look at his sheet once we made it. That was on my side. I just told him, I put the dice in front of him. I told him to keep it on the highest number so he knew which die was had which amount of sides. So like his D4 had the 4 up, the 6 had the 6, 8, and after he rolled it, he had to put it back to the 8 or whatever so that he knew. And I feel like eventually I'm probably making it so he's going to have a OCD to keep dice always at the highest number up. But hopefully it's just a temporary thing until he has them memorized which one to roll at which time. And what I mean when I say D6, D8, D10. So I could use the colored dice, and I did think about that. I did that with my daughter when she was 7, and that helped. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that next time until he gets the hang of that. And then that way I don't have to worry about telling him, yeah, use the one that's this number up. Because I don't want him to have that OCD where he fidgets with his dice and has, you know, maybe I'm being crazy. I don't know. But yeah, what I did with my daughter when she was 7 is I asked her, she was really into Frozen at the time, the first movie. And I asked her, I was like, what kind of character do you want to do? Like, if there were monsters, how would you want to fight it? What would you want to do to it? And she said she wanted to do magic, but she wanted a sword. And so what we did with her is I gave her 3 things she could do. She had a sword that she could, it could catch on fire. She could also use a fireball she could hurl at these things. So more like a firebolt, not really a exploding fireball like the spell. And then she could do a wall of fire, so that if she wanted to run, she could do this wall of fire, and then now something has to run through the fire to get to her. And so it made it real easy for her. I don't think we tracked hit points at all for her. I don't think I gave her any bonus. I may have given her bonuses. I have a little pad of paper around here with some notes of her 3 different things she can do. And yeah. And she saved a boy from the town that she had liked. And he was a barbarian, so he could hit things if he wanted to with his club. And that was the premise. And I think she got a horse and stuff like that. But it was a lot of fun. And it was pretty cute. And we always have that too. We have that videotaped, and that is on my channel if you end up wanting to go track that down. It's called like Adventures of Aaliyah Borealis or something like that. But yeah. So Tim D says, yes, you should at least record it for them. Yeah, I think so too. I really do think I should. Yeah, and maybe I'll make it live again. I don't care. It's not a big deal. I'm not worried about like safety or anything like that when it comes to streaming my children. You know, and who knows, it might help someone with kids as well. I don't know. I'm on the fence if I'm going to stream it or not. I don't want my channel to be perceived as for children. I have adult themed games on here and things like that. And so that's the only reason I don't really want to stream it at this point. That, and I think there's like regulations now about having children on streams and on your YouTube channel. So those are the two reasons that I'm thinking about not doing it. O'Neill says, my oldest, who is autistic, ran his little sister through a session of game he made. It was interesting to see the interaction between them. That would be interesting. So how old are they, O'Neill? I'd love to hear about that. I think children already know how to play pretend. And, you know, the difference between playing with toys at a table and having them fight the other kids' toys and D&D at an actual tabletop RPGs is when they're playing with their toys, they do not have a way to resolve who wins. And so then it sometimes becomes oh, well, I hit you first, I win. Like, it devolves into arguing sometimes, right? I used to hate playing with other kids that way. So, for example, when I was little, I had a bunch of G.I. Joes, X-Men figures, pro wrestlers. And I would play with people. 12 and 7. That's perfect. And so I would play with, like, toys with people. And then, like, we would pick the ones we were going to use. And then we'd fight each other. Like G.I. Joes, we'd have our own base. And then we'd fight each other. And it was so annoying because the other kid would be like, well, I shot you, I win. It's like, that's bullshit. You know? I hated that. So I always hated playing with people. So my thing always became when I played with people, including my sister growing up. It's like, yeah, we'll pick toys. We'll each have our own set of good guys and bad guys. Our good guys work together. Our bad guys work together. My good guys will never fight your bad guys. Your good guys will never fight my bad guys, and so on, right? And that way, we are in complete control of our own outcomes, but we're still playing together. And same thing with like wrestlers and other stuff. And I've tried to teach my kids that too. Like, look, guys, just pick what you want. You can still play with each other, but work together. And your guys never fight their guys. Plain and simple. But yeah, with a tabletop RPG, you have dice to resolve it. That takes away all of that. Like all the bickering and fighting about who wins, right? So I love it. And I hope this is something I do with my kids my whole life and their life. I would love for it to be a regular thing for us. I think it will be. My wife's a gamer. My wife got me into 5e. I've told you guys, or not 5e, Dungeons and Dragons with AD&D back in 2010. I had been playing Palladium Books since 97 exclusively and nothing else. I couldn't find people to let me into their groups, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. So I hope this becomes a thing that my family does and all my children love it and look forward to it and, you know, all of that. Excuse me. So with that, there is only a couple more things to really talk about. But again, I'm really excited about that game. And next session, my son's going to move into the city. And I'm going to have my daughter's character there. And we're going to play together. And it's going to be awesome. And so I just need to go through my notes with my daughter's game from a year ago. Because we haven't played D&D with her in a while. So with that... the last thing I really want to get into is my Patreon. I have not updated it yet. I'm sorry, guys. I need to. I'm planning on doing a few things with my Patreon. I've been talking about this before. I'm considering adding a tier or modifying a tier more likely for games that I've run, modules that I've run of 5e. I'm open to run other systems if that's what people would prefer, but most likely it would be 5e. And with it, I am going to make a tier that's got 6 spots. I think I'm going to charge about $40. And what we'll do is we'll run a game. I don't know how frequently. Whatever I think $40 is worth for, you know, a 3-hour session. We'll probably do it bi-weekly. And we'll probably do it on Fridays. So first module will probably be, I would say... maybe Descent into Avernus if someone wants to play that. It could be Tomb of Annihilation, but I don't want to do that until much later through me playing it. Because I'm playing it, I don't want to read it. Maybe Out of the Abyss. I haven't run that before. I've played a little bit of that. But anyways, one of the 5e modules. And I'm not even going to say which one. I'm going to let the people who pay into it decide. It'll be a $40 tier on our Patreon. And I'll run it through my Zoom. It won't be streamed. It's all going to be for, the patrons in this tier. It's going to have 6 spots open for anyone who wants to play in it. And I'm going to be very upfront with my expectations, what I think I have to offer as a DM. I don't do a lot of voices. That is something I want to get better at. And so I've started taking little tips and stuff from people who are voice actors and things like that. And I do plan on doing more with that. But if you sign up, don't expect a Matt Mercer experience. Just expect a fun, chill, casual game. Hopefully I'll have that up in the next day or two. And I'm thinking about, once that fills up, I'll probably open up a second one. So it'll basically be every Friday I'll be running this for 2 alternating groups. So that'll be what I'm doing. I'm going to have 2 of those for patrons. The other thing for patrons, I do tables. I do random tables. I put up in a Google Drive. I share with all my patrons, whether you're a $1 patron or not, or higher. And, I really enjoy doing tables. So right now I've done D100 tables, D20 tables. I've got a lot of them. I've got a lot of ideas for tables. And the next one I think I want to do is a faction name and goal generator. So it could be something like the light, and it's going to be more dynamic. It's not just going to be one line item of a name. It's going to be like multiple tables that you roll on to come up with the name, and then maybe 1 or 2 for the goal. I haven't decided yet. And then you will have a faction name and what they do, basically, that you can roll on and put into your own games however you'd like. And I've used my own tables in some of my games. I've played in games by other DMs that use my tables. My friend Peter has used my tables. He's also a patron. He runs games. He runs Pulp Cthulhu on this channel. He also plays in our Dragon Age game. And he's used our tables, and it's been great. I've got tables for how party members know each other, stuff like that. So some of the other tables, though, and I'm going to tell you guys what I want to work on. I want to work on, and this one is recommended by somebody, one of my patrons, a personal appearance table. So this could be like an NPC appearance table. Maybe there's a spell that's cast that changes someone's appearance and they roll on this table. There's a lot of ways you could incorporate this table. But NPCs is great. Maybe you create a character and you don't have an idea for what they look like. So I want to do something with this for that. And I think this is also going to be a more dynamic table. Maybe it's multiple tables. Maybe I do it by class, something like that. Racial trinket tables. I've already done a couple of these. I really like racial trinket tables. The idea that every single item on this table is associated with dwarves, it's like dwarven make or a dwarven thing, is perfect when you're in a dwarven mine, for example. Like, you find, roll on the dwarven trinket table. Boom, you find stone gauntlets, of this certain caste dwarf. Things like that. I also do class trinket tables. So again, associated with specific class. So if you make we'll say a bard, and you roll on the trinket table, you should get only bard-like things. That doesn't mean everything on there's an instrument, but it's things that might tie back to a bard. Maybe it's poetry. Maybe it's a famous speech, that's on that's written in invisible ink. Whatever. Background trinket table. And so if you make a character at my table, I would totally allow this stuff. None of it's all pretty much mundane. It might have a magical property that does something that's not on the surface mechanically useful. But if you use it in a creative way, awesome. So background trinket table, festival events table. So events you might partake in at a festival. And that one I think I might even make that a dynamic group of tables. Festival food table, chase scenes table, dragon themed loot table, goblin themed loot table. Basically just a bunch of monster specific loot tables. a random trap maker table, and I think we're going to call it Nasty Trap Tables of Juice to Master Your Game. And that was recommended by Tim D, who is in the chat tonight. He recommended Tim Ditt's 1998's AD&D Dungeon Builder's Guide by Bruce Cordell. So I might check that out. I have Grimtooth traps too. Grimtooth traps I don't advise using because they're basically a kill your party with these traps. Like, they're really hard to get around and stuff like that. And they're meant to be lethal. I want to do a tavern encounter generator. And I was inspired. I can't remember exactly what inspired this, but the idea of a drunkard pastor. I think this was on TikTok. Someone mentioned like a drunk guy at a tavern that you get into a fight with, and you find out after the fact he's the town pastor. So I kind of like that, and that inspired the whole idea for having a tavern encounter generator. The faction name and goals generator, magical item generator, where I want to do it by, and this is more dynamic tables, like materials, what the item actually is, maybe if it does anything like bonus damage or whatever its magical properties are. Maybe it can be invisible with a command word or whatever. So I'm really excited about doing those tables. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. And you can get them for free if you head on over to Patreon, sign up. You can go and check those out. We'll be working on those over the next few weeks. Where did I leave off? Drakenstone Castle. What's up, buddy? Welcome. My daughter is 9 and my wife are playing in a campaign I wrote at Vault of Midnight. They're loving it. An elven wizard and a tabaxi thief. Is it at Vault of Midnight? That's really cool. I'm assuming the one on State Street in Ann Arbor. That's really cool. So my wife played with my daughter and I during COVID. My wife also ran a game for Father's Day, I think, last year. Or maybe it was my birthday. But she ran a game of, it wasn't really D&D, for me and all of my kids. We even tried to get our 2-year-old in on it and let him roll some dice just for the heck of it. But he was like messing with all the stuff we had out. It wasn't really working with him. If he wasn't there, it would have been a blast. Although, even then, I don't think my 5-year-old could have handled it at the time. Now he's 6, and he showed that he could today. O'Neill Flynn, I need to run the whole family. Try to get my wife, suspend belief a little bit. Paul says, that was one of my first PCs, was a Drunken Cleric. I like that idea. I actually like the idea of playing a cleric who, maybe he is a drunk, and maybe because of his addiction, he has lost his magical abilities at the start of a campaign. So here's what I'm thinking right now. So maybe he's a fighter, right? Just a first level fighter, and you're planning on taking levels in cleric, right? At some point. But you play him up as he is a drunk who was a cleric to this god who couldn't cast spells. And then eventually, as he's like getting better about shaking his addiction, he takes those levels in cleric and starts regaining his spell casting and other abilities. I think that would be a fun way to play a cleric in a campaign. It would require a DM who does not run assuming optimized players. It would require a DM who is all about like character progression and the story and seeing through your story arc for your character. And maybe you have combat encounters, but they're not like the toughest. It's more of a backdrop to the other things going on, like the character development, the NPC interactions, and stuff like that. Kind of like our Blue Rose game from Friday. So, where I feel like, combat happened. It was a 20-minute portion of the game, 15-minute portion of the game, but the campaign's not going to be about combat. We might not have another combat scene. I'd be surprised if we don't have at least one more, but at the same time, I definitely don't expect one. So yeah, that was it. I don't want to go on too long. I am doing another stream tomorrow night where we are going to do the Blue Rose giveaway. If you missed how you can get in on that, I mentioned it at the beginning of this stream, but I'll say it again. I have a graphic this is not it. That's right here. if you want in on this, find this graphic on Twitter, find it on Facebook, find it on Instagram. Go back and watch our first session of Blue Rose from Friday evening. Tell us what your favorite moment is, and you can win a narrator bundle with seven different items, or you could win the player bundle with 6 items. Tomorrow night, on stream at the exact same time as tonight, we are going to draw for the winner and of each one. And we're going to do this for all 3 episodes to give away the bundles. So we have a bundle of each for all 3 sessions. So we're giving out a total of 6. And I hope you guys win. I really do. I mean, someone's going to win. I'm wishing you guys luck. It's a really cool game. And so far I'm having a blast with it. It's a lot of fun. I love the age system. It's a really simple pick up and play kind of system that I think most people, if they sit down and play the age system, they've got Dragon Age, Fantasy Age, Modern Age, and Blue Rose. They have the Expanse. I believe all of those use the age system. They also make A Song of Ice and Fire, Mutants and Masterminds, DC Heroes, I think was one they made a while back. All sorts of other games. So Green Ronin Publishing has been fantastic. They are giving me these bundles to give away. So thank you to Green Ronin Publishing for supporting me and this channel as we do this. And hopefully we can raise some awareness for the system. I would like to, one more thing before I go. I have a bunch of reviews coming for Paizo. I have a bunch of reviews coming for a couple other games that are in the mail. And I also have I would like to get back to doing like how-to series, how to play certain systems. And one of them I want to do is Fantasy Age. Dragon Age, Fantasy Age, Modern Age. I don't have Modern Age yet. But I want to get into doing a how-to series for those games. And I might just break it down like age system and then the specifics of each one of the different ones. So that it's kind of like, here's the intro, but then here's the more advanced stuff that's system or setting specific, I guess. Fantasy Age is more generic fantasy. It's not really tied to a setting, whereas Dragon Age is tied to the specific video game setting. So yeah. Tim D says the knife in the foot was almost combat. That's true, Tim. That is very true. Hey, Tim, did you enter already over on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook? By the way, you can enter on all 3 platforms. If you go find that graphic on all 3, you don't have to follow me on any of those or any of that. You don't even have to be a subscriber to this channel. But if you go and comment with your favorite moment from that game in all those spots, you will be entered to win, and I'll do it live tomorrow. So if I have an even number of entries that I could use one of my dice, I'll do a dice camera, and I'll put my camera down. You can see the dice roll, and I'll run it through my my dice tower, and you guys can see who wins that way. And I'll share on screen who's entered into the contest. So, but yeah, Age System by Green Ronin is awesome. I think right now you can save 10% on orders if you want to just go buy stuff. Joseph Carricker, one of the players in that game, works for Green Ronin. He is the developer of the Blue Rose line. And in case you guys are wondering, Blue Rose, I think, was originally made by Jeremy Crawford of Wizards of the Coast as well. So it's a setting he came up with like 20 years ago. So yeah. It will be counted as 3 entries. I prefer if you mention 3 different moments though. So instead of using the same moment from our game Friday in all 3 spots, I'd prefer if rather than copy and paste, you did a separate moment, but I'm not going to be too picky on that. Also, if you're an artist and you want to draw fan art of the players or of a moment from that game, you will get 2 entries. So that's just something we came up with, me and Peter, when we were talking during another game like a couple weeks ago. I think our Dragon Age game. So if you want to do that for Dragon Age or Blue Rose, you can get entered in that, because we're also going to do a Dragon Age giveaway in a couple weeks. So yeah. But yeah, so cool stuff. I like doing giveaways. I'm actually really excited about it. On TikTok, I'm almost at 1,000 followers. I'm thinking if I get to 1,000, I might do some sort of giveaway there. I'm not sure yet. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it'll be something reserved for like a 10,000 number or something. But I'm growing pretty quick over there, and I plan on doing some giveaways over there and more over here. So I like giving away stuff. So if companies will sponsor the giveaway, even better. Even better. If any company's out there and wants to do a giveaway and they just need me to get them in contact with the winners, that's ideal. I don't want to have to handle things if I don't have to. But I am always open to companies wanting to do giveaways on this channel. I love doing them. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Again, tomorrow night at 7:45, we'll be back on. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on. Thank you for stopping by, guys. Love you all.